of that service, but there was such incredible community there, and it was an amazing celebration of faith and also the music and the liturgy. So that was a fantastic day on the 6th of April. And so I've seen how much this church means to the community and how much it does for the community broadly, but also in particular for young people. And I know how much this community invests in young people in terms of developing them, exposing them to faith, but also to giving them really positive avenues to study and to become very positive members of the community. And it was really good to be able to visit the community centre that is getting so close to completion, and to see a lot of the areas there that are dedicated to young people as well. So these support services, as I said, will go a long way to the investment of an additional $50,000 will go a long way to supporting the already good work that St Michael's does, and that this broader community that already does already. So thank you for having us here at what's a very important time of the year.
Thank you very much. ምናልባት በእናንተ ትንሽ ኤክስፕሌን ለማድረግ ከሰበካ ጉባኤው ጋር በመሆን በተለይ ሰበካ ከሰበካ ጉባኤው ጋር በመወያየት ወደፊት ቤተክርስቲያናችን ላይ አንዳንድ ነገሮችን በዌልፌር ሲስተም ለመስራት ብለን አስበን ያቀርነው አንድ ፕላን ነበር እና ሰበካ ጉባኤው አጽንኦት ሰጥቶ ይሄ ነገር ተፈጻሚ እንዲሆን በጣም ጥረት አድርጎ ነበር እና ያንን ነገር ሰርተን ድራስ አድርገን ዴቨሎፕ አድርገነው ነበር። ግን ያን ኢምፕሊመንት ለማድረግ ጊዜና ገንዘብ ያስፈልግ ነበር እና አሁን እነሱ ምንድነው የሚሉት ያንን ነገር ዴቨሎፕ አድርጋችሁ ኢምፕሊመንት ለማድረግ በነጮች በእንግሊዝኛው ሲድ ፋንዲንግ ይባላል። ምን እንደሆነ አላውቅም በአማርኛው ኢኩቫለንት የሆነው ለመጀመሪያ ማለት ነው። መጀመሪያ ለማንቀሳቀስ ነገር ያስፈልጋል። ስለዚህ ያን ነገር ለማድረግ እና ኪክ ስታርት አድርገው ለመጀመር እኛ 50,000 መስጠት እንችላለን። እኛ 50,000 ሰጣችሁ ያን ይዛችሁ ሰራተኛ ቀጥራችሁ ከዛ በኋላ ያለው ነገር ደግሞ ማስፋት ይቻላል። ያንን ስራ አብረን እንሰራለን ወደፊት ነው የሚሉት። እናመሰግናለን። ይሄንን በአማርኛ በእንግሊዝኛ እናገርና ከዛ ለማለት ወራበታችን እንመሳሰልና Thank you very much. I think it helped us a lot. We definitely looking this investment to invest as seed funding for the purpose of the St Michael welfare system we are trying to develop, particularly to address issues related to young people, issues related to families and others. I'm sure if you are elected, hopefully you will work with us further to develop this, to take it to the next level. So this is the first step, and the next step is we are going to explore and work or walk the walk with you and with you to achieve better outcomes. So thank you very much, and we appreciate it. So I will now return and give the microphone to Abba Gebrselassie, Malaka Sahai Abba Gebrselassie, who is the head of St Michael administrator. So thank you.
Zaislan waladoi wamam walasano dekama makamayom yamsatu nafsa wasalam ያብየር ለብርሃን ትንሣኤውን ጠብቆ ያድርሰን። እንግዲህ አሁን በኩረት ባህል ያብራሩት የሰበካ ጉባኤው ኃላፊነቱን በጀቱን በጅቶ ባለሙያው የተሰራውን ስራ ሰርቶ እንዲያስረክብ ሰበካ ጉባኤው ኃላፊነቱን ወስዶ ቢያደርግም ግን በአጠቃላይ አሁን ይሄ ቀላል አይደለም። ጅምሩ 50,000 ብር ለእኛ ትልቅ ነገር ነው። መነሻችን ነው። ነገ ሌላ ብዙ አምነውበታል ማለት ነው። ያ ስራ የቀረበው የተጠናው ጥናት አምነውበታል ማለት ነው እና በጣም ነው የምናመሰግን። ይህ በኩረቱ ባህል በጣም በሰጠና ኃላፊነት መሰረት የአንተና መላከ ሰላም አቤ ናችሁ። ይህን እንድትጨርሱ ሰበካ ጉባኤ በሰጣችሁ ኃላፊነት መሰረት ደክማችሁ ባለሙያውን ፈልገህ በማግኘት በማምጣት ሰበካ ጉባኤው ጋር በማገናኘት ያ ጥናት ተጠንቶ በእጃችን እንዲገባ ትልቁን ሚና የተጫወት ካንተናና እናመሰግናለን። ከዛ ቀጥሎ ደግሞ የሰበካ ጉባኤያችን በእውነቱ ባለው አቅም ሁሉ ይህን ደብር ለማሳደግ የማይቆፍረው የለም እና የታሰበው ፕሮጀክት ወደ ስራ በሚውልበት ጊዜ ይሄ ደብር በጣም ትልቅ እንደሌሎቹ ካቶሊኮች እንደተደራጁት በዚህ ክፍለ ዓለም ሌሎችም እንደተደራጁት ቤተክርስቲያን ይደራጃል ብለን ተስፋ እናደርጋለን እንጠብቃለን እና እግዚአብሔር አምላክ እንግዲህ ከዚህ የበለጠ እንድንሰራ ሁሉንም ይፍቀድልን። ቴንክ ዩ ቬሪ ማች። ዌልካም ቱ ኢትዮጵያን ኦርቶዶክስ ቸርች ሜልበርን ሴንት ማይክል ሜልበርን ኢትዮጵያን ኦርቶዶክስ ቸርች we are facilitating so many kids. If you come one day, even if it is possible, if you have time, if you come evening time, this area full of kids from 400 up to 500 kids here, always, every week, every Friday. This room full of kids, and a big time also, and the old hall also, and all around the church. Then we are looking, government will facilitate, will help us to do more for the kids. Then we are very happy you are with us today. We are very happy. You supported us now to pay $50,000 for this program. We are very happy today. Thank you so much. I can't speak English perfectly, but I am trying. I am also.
Okay. የጌም ቴክሶች አላችሁ? Do you have any question? Good. Here's a question to ask. Okay.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate the effort you're doing. We've seen you in celebrations before, and this commitment is very important for us. Like our father has expressed, there are a lot of kids that we are trying to support with just a lot of volunteers, which in terms of the number of kids that we are trying to manage and to support, I'm one of the teachers that is trying to help the kids. We have quite a lot of them, and this is a big community service that we try to give to the kids, which is it's very important that you are trying to help us. And I think it's more than the in-kind support. I think it would be really helpful if you help us develop further the program so that we will be properly staffed. At least if we have people who are, we have a lot of people from our community who are educated in social services, in community services, psychology, a few other things. But we need to have a system, and we often apply for numerous grants, federal and state government grants. And it would be really important if you support us with letters, and also if you can help us building the program, and also I guess with your experience from other communities by supporting us on how to expand this into a system that is sustainable, because it's very hard to sustain this with just volunteers. It's only continuing like this because there is a lot of commitment, because it's a church service, and everyone is giving their time, their free time, which is really important. volunteerism is one of the key aspects of Christian work, and we're all doing it for the love of the voluntary work and for the love of Christ. But it would be very important for you to always think of us on how you can support us better, more than the money in the so thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for your sort of statement there, and for sure, you know, this electorate is one of the youngest in Australia. You know, we have so many young people in our community, and that's why, you know, Daniel and I were so excited to announce this money today to support the wonderful work you do. But I think it's a really important point that, you know, this isn't just a one-off sort of thing. You know, yes, we've had some money today, but we need to build a program that's sustainable into the future, and that's why, you know, it's wonderful to work with Highly and your wonderful community leaders that you have here at the church. So we can work together to make sure that, you know, we resource up your wonderful volunteers that are giving so much to your church, to this community, and make sure that, you know, we can sustain these programs into the future as well. Daniel, do you want to add anything?
Thanks, Alison. I think that's all really points well made. And I think, as Alice said, it's a very young community, which is wonderful. I mean, 400 kids in one room is complicated and a challenge, and congratulations to all the people who make that happen. And can I thank all the volunteers and the teachers who and experts who make that happen. My mum was a teacher, and I know from having seen her work over a long period how important that role is in our society. But as Alice said, we need to also have a view to making a program like this sustainable. And one thing I'd be keen to work with you on is how, as you roll this out, even trying to measure basic things. So I think one of the things to build the case over time for additional funding, it helps if you can measure some of the things you're doing, and not just how many things you're doing, but, and it's harder to measure outcomes, but what the impacts are. It is possible to try to do that, and that always helps if you're then looking to pick up on this more over time.
ሌላ ጥያቄ ያለው ከሴቶች? የለም? I think you raised a good question. You have a suggestion about measuring the impact. I can give you one example, for example. 5 years ago, we secured a homework support grant. And through this homework support grant, we provided homework support entirely in year 10 to 12. Every year we have, a graduation ceremony for the students. And the number of students achieving, the highest grade has been increasing as a result of that. So we do have all that kind of, stuff, but as you say, it's really important for us to measure the impact of any of those activities, including now the proposed welfare system. What sorts of things we're going to do when it comes to young people. We do have young people who are achieving the highest level, but we do have young people who are struggling. We do have young people also falling between the cracks. So we need to, provide support for all those young people. So I think, we are very happy to work with you and keep you updating what's going on. And the last thing which I would say is Ethiopian community is the second largest African community here in Victoria, by comparing with others, but the least receiving when it comes to government grants. If I compare Ethiopians with Somali and South Sudanese, I know some of the programs I used to manage from the other end, and we provide, millions of dollars for those different communities. But when it comes to Ethiopians, it's almost zero. I think one of the issues seems to be we are not vocal. We are very quiet. in working our own needs, our own ways. We do achieve a lot by ourselves, but we don't really go out and seeking grants, and we don't make a noise. So if you don't make a noise, you don't make it. So you need to advocate. It's obviously you need to do that. So I think that's one of the big hurdles. We need to come out and advocate and engage with you, and at the same time, I think if we are going to get some kind of support, we can participate and support our community. And the church is playing a significant role. So I appreciate it. Any question? I'll let you know. No, there's one question.
Your contributions, we all appreciate it as a church. My question is, how will you help us serve in the church in the future? Like, not just by giving money, but also by giving of time. Like, what are you going to do to achieve that? Because I feel like all of us would really appreciate you being present. I know just, checking my YouTube that would be very appreciated.
Thank you for your question. Sorry, it was a little bit hard to hear, but I think you're sort of saying, well, it's wonderful that we can come and visit. How else are you going to help us sort of into the future? That's great. For sure, and definitely something like I very much see our relationship, and I'm sure Daniel does as well, as the long-term relationship and how the federal government can help you and your church, achieve your vision as well. Hailey and I have talked a number of times about how he wants to sort of see the church grow and how the federal government can have grant programs and that kind of thing to sort of help where we can. And this commitment today is one way we can do that. I think the other thing I'd say is more that this is very much a partnership I see this as. How we can help your community, how we can reach out, how we can support as many people as you possibly can. I think that's probably where I leave. Do you want to add anything?
I think that's all correct. And the only thing I'd add is, and I think Hailey's raised a good point, that I think because we are in a very multicultural area in Melbourne's west, and in a sense it means that communities need to figure out ways to communicate their needs to government, and that's not a simple thing. So I think part of what Alice and I can do is engage in a two-way conversation where we talk to you and understand what your needs are, but then we can also convey to you what kinds of opportunities there are at government. And sometimes it's a conversation over time, as Alice said, it's a long-term partnership where we jointly figure out what's feasible within the constraints of government. I think one of the challenges would be to raise the profile of your community and all that you've already achieved, but also the additional help that you deserve.
Any other question? No? Okay. The last thing what I want to say is, I know you also allocated something around 15 or $20 million for the African communities under Julian here. He's the assistant minister for multicultural affairs.
Yeah.
By the way, Julian and I used to work together.
Right.
So I know him personally. So probably that might be a good idea also to access some of those grants when it's implemented. But they definitely are looking for the African communities. I know that money will go to different states, but for Victoria, I'm not sure there's 4 or 5 million allocated for Victoria. So after election, of course, if there's any way to discuss further to help implementing this program, so that grant, that would be really fantastic. With that, I can finish now and እርሶ መንግስት ስለዚህ ነው። All right, okay. We have got one last question to ask. So we asked you what we are expecting from you, but what do you expect from us? That's the question for you. Obviously, you probably would say, vote for us, and that's I'm not going to say that, but tell us.
Well, obviously, you can exercise your democratic right to vote how you like. Obviously, we'd like you to vote in a certain way. I think just keep talking to us. You know, we want to know what you need, so how we can support you in any way we can. We're really keen to work with you to raise the profile of the wonderful Ethiopian community we have out here in the West. So I think we just keep talking and we keep chatting about what's front of mind for you and how we can help.
No, I think that's exactly right. And I think one of the challenges that I've seen in a lot of communities is that, as with any group of human beings, it's often not easy to come up with a common vision, because there might be different views within the community as to what people want to see and what kinds of things they want invested in, what programs or what physical infrastructure. And I guess one of the things that I think it would be good to engage in is just to figure out ways where your voice can become as clear and powerful as possible. But some of that work ends up being within the community, trying to figure out how do you, as a community, come up with a unified vision, when sometimes, as with any community, often there are competing views, and that's healthy. But by the time you get to going to government to make asks, it's easier if there is a very clear, unified vision of what it is you're asking for.
Thank you very much. With that, we finish our session. We appreciate it for your allocating these $50,000. Definitely, we will start, hopefully, our project with that seed funding, and we will expand and we will work with you and Julian here to look at also what other grants are available so that we can support our young people and families in the future. Thank you very much. That was a question.
in development.